I thought this was going to be more interesting. I started already recording and I wondered what you guys would say as you enter, but you guys both were not speaking.
Well, to be fair, you just got done screaming the like 14 times right before we got on stream.
I've become best friends with them.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm festive.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dear Hollow Heroes. And as always, I'm just Ben Petrick, and I'm here alongside Meek Man Liam Meekum
Going on, guys?
and Robespierre Rob Kelly.
That's me.
If you don't know why I paused while saying Rob Kelly, what does your name tag say, dude?
It is the first letter of my first name and my last name, which is Kelly. My first name is Robert. If you can't put two and two together, go back to the third grade.
Also, you have a very nice forehead, if I haven't said so myself, man.
Thank you.
You have to like lift your head up to speak. You're like, hello. You're like a hedgehog. Or wait, what is it? Ground prairie dog. Prairie dog. Anywho, uh, I'm not good with animals, but I'm good with sports. So I had Liam do the top story. Let's go straight to the top story, Liam.
So yeah, some people call me Passant, some people call me Schefter. On the West Coast, they call me the baseball messiah, but we're not going to get into nicknames here. That's not what this is for. I'm here with all your baseball news, as always, to give you all the reports from the trade deadline. So without further ado, the man that needs no introduction, Liam Passant Meekum. So the Yankees, we'll start with the Yankees.
Hold on, before you go into it, you called yourself the baseball messiah.
No, that's what they call me on the West Coast.
What the
No, I would never call myself that. That's I like to be a little bit more level-headed, more even-keeled. But now, can I get on with it? Can you let the baseball messiah speak? So we'll start with the Yankees. Really, the big move here is Jazz Chisholm. They got him for a couple prospects. It looks like 3 prospects, and they ended up getting Mark Leiter. The only other move it looks like was
Mark Leiter Jr.
Mark Leiter Jr.
That's pivotal.
Anil De Los Santos. Orioles had a big day. They got Greg Soto, Eloy Jimenez, Trevor Rogers, Zach Eflin, Anthony Dominguez, and Christian Pache. Added a lot of pieces, gave up, decent amount of prospects. They ended up losing Austin Hayes in that, I believe it was the Anthony deal. But they got a good haul back. They solidified themselves as real contenders here. Red Sox had a pretty big day. Not too many huge names, but a lot of signings. Biggest one was Danny Jansen. Padres, couple moves, nothing crazy. Dodgers had a big day again. Jack Flaherty, Kevin Kiermaier, Ahmed Rosario, Tommy Edman, Michael Kopech, and Oliver Gonzalez. Pretty good. Pretty good. That's a good haul for an already pretty good roster. That's what I think they were missing is that depth, but they ended up getting a little bit of it. Giants got Mark Canha. The Rays ended up getting Christopher Morel. The Phils, they got Austin Hayes, like I mentioned before. They got Paul Blackburn, Jesse Winker, Ryan Stanek, and Phil Matten. Pirates ended up getting Brian De La Cruz. Twins got Trevor Richards. Rangers got Andrew Chafin. I know we were talking a little bit about him. He ended up going to the Rangers. The Mariners, the big one they got a couple players. The big one they got was Randy Arozarena. As we all know, that was a pretty early deal. Royals got Paul DeJong. Astros got Yusei Kikuchi. Guardians got Alec Cobb and Lane Thomas. D-backs got Josh Bell and AJ Puck. Braves got Jorge Soler. Brewers got Frankie Montas and Aaron Savali. The Cardinals got Tommy Pham. The White Sox got a bunch of no-names appropriate for the White Sox. Reds got Ty France. And the Cubs got Isaac Paredes, and that was in that Christopher Morel deal.
Isak.
And that pretty
Isak
much sums up
Paredes.
the moves.
I
Isaac
like
Paredes.
I
Yeah,
like
I
how
know his
you
name. I just didn't feel like saying it.
I like how you flamed the White Sox mid-report. Like the White Sox got no names as per
I'm
usual.
a professional, but the White Sox are not above criticism.
No, that I think I sent you guys a group chat text where I wrote, it's amazing. If you're a White Sox player, you haven't gone to sleep a winner since July 5th, and the last time you won a game was a split in a doubleheader on June 10th or July 10th. It's July 30th. So for
Bad.
20 days they haven't won a game, and they haven't only won games since for 25 days. Just the definition of poverty. Like
Well,
unbelievable.
worry not, White Sox fans. You got Miguel Vargas, Gerald Perez, and Alexander Albertus.
Miguel Vargas will eventually probably be a decent player, but
Eventually, probably be decent. Sounds like the White Sox.
yeah, true. But that's basically the replacement for Eloy Jimenez, who they really weren't. The fan base wasn't a big fan of him at the end, especially because he said that he wants to take care of his body. But then I think a reporter said, "What? You want to take care of your 4 ground outs a game?" Even though he is, in my opinion, the best hitter on the White Sox this season.
It's like saying
Um,
he's the shiniest turd. What does that matter?
true, but
Is he batting 230 to hold that title?
true. But if in the role that Austin Hayes had on the Orioles, he'll do better in that role, and Austin Hayes will do better for his role in Philly. I actually think they did good by Austin Hayes, the Orioles, by sending him to Philly. Um, I think that that was a really smart move. If
I
you're
think Philly ended up giving up a lot here.
Yes, I think Philly gave up. They had a lot of depth of the bullpen. Now I feel like it's thinned out a little bit. I agree, but I think Gregory
Giving up
Soto
Greg
was
Soto and Sir Anthony.
like that. I think Gregory Soto was getting close to that DFA option. So I think trading him away was kind of like their DFAing without DFAing. You know what I'm saying? Especially after what he did with the Yankees last night. Like, his start before that wasn't too hot. He's struggling to get outs. Like they kind of saw the decline and was kind of like trade him while we still get something for him in a way. Um,
I would like to mention that Andrew Chafin got traded for 2 minor league players. Only one of them was a ranked prospect. And he was only ranked in the Rangers organization, not as a whole prospect. You know,
wow,
they, Rangers got Andrew Chafin for a bag of chips.
they really
I know
did.
that,
That's crazy.
and that was a big talking point last week. You know how much Chafin trade was worth, and I said he was worth a bag of chips. You guys said no, he isn't, and I was right. I just wanted to let that be known.
I mean, who would have thought Jazz Chisholm would be traded for a couple non kind like not really that well ranked prospects in the Yankee organization, and just 3 prospects that are not the best upside on a lot of them, and it would seem
Well,
like a
according to MLB Pipeline, the number one prospect traded during the whole deadline was the Yankees catcher we got Chisholm for. He was ranked 27th in the organization. We already called up Wells. You know, trading catching prospect was a no brainer for the Yankees. You know, our best catching prospect is already in the big leagues. Our starting catcher, Jose Trevino, is just on the IL for the moment, should be back within weeks. So that was the easiest piece for them to trade away. And like you said, not a whole lot given away. That's our best giveaway.
and Estevez is good. I think Estevez has a good bat, or like he's good at one or the other. I don't know which one, but he's like solid enough that like if one of them goes to the IL, he can be good for. I don't know if he's a defensive or a hitting catcher, but he's good at one of them, and kind of lackluster at the other, but still, um,
So
he's a good enough backup. Uh,
my question I'm going to propose to you two is there were essentially 4 teams who really bought this trade deadline. It was the Dodgers, the Orioles, the Guardians, and I'm going to say the Rangers. You know, you can throw in the Phillies maybe with Austin Hayes, but which team do you think won the deadline?
I definitely don't think the Rangers were huge buyers. They really only got Chapin. They didn't really make too many small moves. I really like what the Dodgers were able to do. We had a lot of question marks because we know they have their top heavy. They have some of the best players in the world. But the real question marks were in the bottom of that lineup because we really thought it was an all-star lineup. It ended up not really being an all-star lineup. They were able to get Flaherty, so some pitching help. Kiermaier, Ahmed Rosario, Tommy Edman, and Michael Kopech as well. It's pretty solid moves. This is some good names, some decent bats, some reliable bats. Those are moves that are going to help you, you know, come the postseason when maybe your stars need a little bit of help. That's where you look.
You're looking at the Dodgers. Their biggest struggles on that lineup. You know, Otani, Will Smith. You have Teoscar Hernandez and Freddie Freeman. You know what you're getting out of those guys. You you got it. Mookie Betts. I know Nick Ahmed is playing short right now for them, but that's going to be Mookie Betts soon. Your struggles were you needed center field, and you got two. You got Tommy Edman, who really hasn't played yet, so he's a risk if he comes back. You don't know
Yeah,
what
but
you're getting out of
he's a
Tommy
utility
Edman.
guy
He's a
too.
utility guy. He can either solve your Kike Hernandez problem in third, or he could solve your Andy Pajes problem in center. But again, he's a risk. So the Dodgers were like, are we going to bank on a guy that hasn't really played at all this season? So they didn't go with him. They didn't stop there. They went to got Kevin Kiermaier, who's playing his last season. He's emptying the tank. He basically stated that. And this is his last shot to win a title. So you know you got a center fielder that's emptying the tank this season if Edmund doesn't play center. And I
And
believe they got
some leadership.
and they got another infielder. I forgot who. I'm sorry. You said a lot.
Rosario.
They got Rosario, who is a constant 280 hitter, to fill out the short role if Mookie doesn't come back fully healthy. He can play short. If not, they'll throw him over to third base. And if Gavin Luck starts to slow down, they could throw him at second. So all of these holes, there's gonna be a mixture here that's gonna be a World Series lineup, in my opinion.
I agree.
But the problem is the only thing that gets in the Dodgers' way every year are the Dodgers. So the question will be, do the Dodgers just shoot themselves in their own foot? That's going to be the real question. But I think the Dodgers won the trade deadline. I think so. Because that pitching staff, they have 10 starters, I believe. They have 10 qualified top 30 starters on this team. I might not be top 30, but they have
Top 30
the
is bold.
the greatest pitching staff I've ever seen, and half of them are in the IL. I think they have a top 10 starting rotation just injured. At one point, now that Clayton Kershaw's back, is not as strong. But at one point, they had Clayton Kershaw, Glass now, Yamamoto, Dustin May, and Tony Glosson all on the IR or IL. And that's one of the best rotations in baseball right there. So this team has so much depth, and they don't have to worry about Bobby Miller starting a game in the postseason. And that's another big one for them. So I think this team is surefire, locked and loaded. Nothing can stand in their way but themselves. So yeah, I have to go with the Dodgers. I loved what they did. I watched it all, and I was very impressed with it.
Rob, please give us another answer other than the Dodgers.
Well, my clear answer is my prediction for the World Series winners this year, the Baltimore Orioles, because
You
they
homer.
they rebuilt an entire bullpen in one trade deadline. In like that's what they did. They went out, they said, we need a bullpen. We'll take you, we'll take you, we'll take you, we'll take you. And they went out and they just got dudes. Now, some of them are, a bit shakier than others. But when it came to like the Phillies trade where they had to dish out Austin Hayes for Sir Anthony, like that was a good trade. That's a guy who, he's not always the best, but like when he is dialed in, there aren't many pitchers like him. He throws 100 and he has a nasty, I want to say splitter or changeup that he pairs very nicely with it. And they didn't really get anything else because they didn't need anything else. They brought up the farm, they figured out what works, what didn't, and traded like crazy. They have a starting rotation that's solid. We know they have bats. and now they have a bullpen, which on paper should be locked down for the rest of the season. They're going to give up runs. They're still not going to lose games, but that's baseball. But they, they just reconstructed their whole bullpen in 4 days, and that is
I
impressive.
what I think the Orioles kind of did is I think they just cast a very wide net, got everyone they thought would potentially work out, and I think it's going to take some time to find the proper rotation with them. But I think that if they're able to find it and hit their stride at the right time, it's going to be very dangerous. Because I think getting all those players, if you close your eyes and throw a bunch of darts at the wall, one of them's going to hit the board.
I'm so sorry for interrupting, but I have the Yankee Philly game on, and I thought Alec Boehm just hit the walk off hit in the bottom of the 11th, to which Trent Grisham made the most incredible dive for it. I'm just sorry. That's why my face just got floored. I was like, wow, that was incredible. But anyhow,
Can I?
Okay, so breaking news out of Ben's room. The Phillies Yankees game almost ended but didn't. All right, now back to your regularly scheduled program.
it was a cool catch. I thought you guys loved defense.
Huge news out of Ben's room. There was a yep. Am I hearing that right? A cool catch. Yep. All right. And back to you.
So I think another sneaky good deadline team, which kind of came out of left field, but they still put together a lot of good pieces. Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates went out and dished dudes, got dudes. They got Brian De La Cruz. They got a bunch of pitching, and I couldn't tell if they were selling based off of the pieces they were giving away or buying from who they were getting. It seemed like what they were doing was, you know, reframing what they knew they had versus what they didn't, right? It's like if we get an outfielder like Brian De La Cruz to replace one of our guys who's more mediocre, if that is anything better, we know what direction we need to head. And it was kind of a retooling for the Pirates more than it was going one way or the other. And I thought that was really interesting to see. You don't see that very often, especially at the deadline.
That
Another
third
one I liked was the Guardians and Alex Cobb. They didn't
Yep.
really need a lot. They've been a really good team. They don't want to mess with anything right now. They went out, they got the pitcher they needed, didn't over move players, didn't trade away the farm. They made their move, they got out. I really like what the Guardians did.
And Alex Cobb hasn't pitched to start this season, but the Guardians are most likely going to win that number one overall seed. So going into the number one overall seed with a guy that is notoriously competitive, like the Rodon said, like when he was on that pitching staff in San Francisco, was more competitive than Rodon was, and Rodon is a very emotional pitcher. So that competitive edge might be kind of exactly what they need. Like he might not go out there and be one of the better pitchers, but they don't need him to. He needs to be the game three starter that just gets that spark going on a game that you're not supposedly the
And
favorite on.
it's kind of a unique situation when you go into big games and you don't have any film on a pitcher from this year. You know,
With a pitcher that has nothing to lose either.
it's there's a lot of question marks, and that can win you games.
They also got outfielder Lane Thomas from the
They did.
Nationals.
Another good
That
pickup.
Yeah, another good pickup because if there's any holes when it comes to defense on that team, it is in the outfield. Like I said, there's not many. You got Miles Straw and I'm blanking on the other name. Ben, you know who it is. He hits
Oh,
the ball a
Stephen
lot.
Kwan.
Stephen Kwan. And
Yep.
then you got Lane Thomas. You can round that out. You know, Guardians, like you said, got in, got out. They got two guys who are good additions. Didn't deal out a whole lot. They dealt out three prospects, but if you're
True.
going for it like the Guardians are going for it, you don't need prospects.
No,
Another one I was looking at was just in a very Brewers-esque mood or move. They got Frankie Montes and Aaron Savali. I mean, recently the Brewers have been all about pitching. Their bats haven't always been the best, but they've had some very good pitchers on their roster. Went out, got two more pitchers that could end up being really good. Just a very Brewers move.
their offense lives and dies if Christian Yelich is good or not.
I know.
If
And
he's good,
Well,
they make the
Contreras has been
postseason.
good this year.
Contreras has been good this year.
Yes.
Now, kind of to flip it, Is there a team that lost the deadline besides the White Sox? White Sox are just losers. We knew what the White Sox were doing.
I don't think there's a team that will know lost the deadline, but this is how I'm going to put it. That NL wild card is going to be huge for a lot of teams. The Pirates, the Mets, and the Mets. There's also the Braves, who got Jorge Soler. There's one more team that's in that mix. Like there's
Padres.
the Padres. Thank you. One of these teams can't make it. And all of these teams think they're going to. The Pirates, I swear the Pirates want to make it. So their core, Paul Skeens, Brian Reynolds, maybe Key Brian Hayes, but definitely O'Neill Cruz, they could see postseason. They want them to see postseason. I think that's what they're like. We can make it. Let's get you to see it. I think they're the best team to not make it to look like the other teams will look worse. But if a team like the Mets, who went out of their way, traded a couple prospects for Jesse Winker, they went out of their way to trade for pitching, and you have also on top of that, there's another team. The Braves got Soler. They gave up a lot for Soler actually, and then there's one more. And then of course the Padres who traded a lot to get that bullpen. They don't make it. They got rid of a lot to get themselves in this position. It could look really bad if you just don't make the postseason afterwards. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
those are two teams that I was going to bring up. I think the Mets. I think time will tell with both of these teams, but I think the Mets. I didn't love it. Um, I don't think they bought hard enough. And if they're not going to buy and go out and sign a big name, like they got Winker, they got Paul Blackburn, they got Ryan Stanek, and they got Phil Matten. I mean, there's some decent names. They're going to help them win games, but I don't know if it's enough to make a deep playoff run. I think it's enough to maybe squeak in. And I think if you're not going to go out and really buy, I think you either got to stay complacent and don't trade away those prospects and build for the future, or you sell. I don't love what the Mets did, and I think the Braves are in a similar spot with that Soler pickup. But what the Braves have is they will be right back where they are next year when everybody's healthy. But I think they're too dinged up this year to really make that push. So I'm not really sure why Soler was signed now.
Yeah, I think the Braves are just holding on, which is not something you want
No,
going into a postseason run. You're holding, but the thing is, around this time, as Rob's about to say, the trade deadline is when Atlanta turned it around. Atlanta went on a serious winning streak, and then that winning streak pivoted them, just like the Nationals in 2019. Couple trades here and there. Next thing you know, your team's won the World Series.
I will.
They got their World Series MVP back.
I refuse to bet on that happening again.
No, this is not the same as last year for the
Yeah.
Braves. This is I know you disagree, Rob, but I think you could well enough agree. It just doesn't feel the same right now.
It doesn't feel the same, but you know, the Braves top guys are out, right? You got Acuna, you got Albies, you got Strider. They're all out. And those are their top dogs. But then you have to remember that the rest of their lineup are all still just dudes who play baseball at a high level. You know,
That
they're
could be said
worse.
about pretty much any team but the White Sox.
Well, no, not
Just
it's not
one more White Sox bird.
it's not even just that. It's just that, their worst players are just slightly below league average. Most teams you have 4 or 5 guys who are below league average, but not terrible. Like the Braves are one of those teams who are kind of like the Dodgers or like the Phillies or the Orioles, who like when you look at their lineup on paper, you're like, no, that should be a winning lineup day in, day out. Now, a team that I think lost the deadline, didn't you don't see them on any list, the Reds. And I'm going to explain myself because the Reds didn't do anything.
They got Ty France.
They got Ty France.
Thank the heavens.
They got Ty France, who was DFA'd. It wasn't a major pull for the Reds. But the problem I saw with the Reds is right now you have a group of young players with high potential, and you're not doing anything this year, right? But you're not selling off your guys who are at the end of their contracts to get new pieces to help build your team. You're not going out and getting guys to help your team win now. What the Reds said was, sure, we got a lot of guys with a lot of talent who just aren't winning right now, but we think they'll win later. And that's just not a mentality you can really push all that well.
I don't mind it as long as they make splashes in free agency. I don't think the trade deadline is necessary for a team like that.
I know, but like the problem I had with it is that they did nothing, right? Because you, if you are like the way I see the Reds is a team with a lot of good prospects, a lot of good young talent now, who should go out and get guys who are 1 to 2 year contracts, and who will fill holes on your team. So you get your young players winning more, who can help your team win, rather than just say, "Hey, we're just rolling the dice until the offseason." Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have said buy high or sell high, right? But they just got Ty France, which
Kind of
is
show your team like you guys
not
are
bad.
in, or you guys are in like you're getting close. Like make your team have hope in a way is what I would say. It's what Rob's saying. Like make the team
What?
go, even if we don't make the playoffs, we're in the right direction, kind of thing.
Yeah, I understand. I get it, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't think they went out and made stupid decisions because I think if they see something nice, you pull the trigger. But I don't think you go and force your hand in order to say, "Oh, well, this year was a great success." It doesn't matter. They're not winning anything this year. Go out, spend your money wisely. It's not the Yankees. It's not the Dodgers. They don't have unlimited money. They don't have unlimited assets. They can't go out and just spend. You go out, you make smart moves, you build a franchise. If they can do that, I will absolutely have no problem with what the Reds did.
Speaking of another team that has been, of course, in the topic was the, I think the definition of the most like you can't complain, but you're not saying we did a great job are the two New York teams, the Mets and the Yankees. You're not excited, but you're not disappointed. But for now, it's panned out so far so good for both. Jesse Winker has been hitting well, and Jazz Chisholm has 4 home runs in 3 games as a Yankee. So, and he's still in game 3. So he could get another if this game keeps going.
My
So
my problem with the Jazz Chisholm one was it's just a little bit of a crowded outfield.
he's gonna play infield. He's gonna be a third baseman.
Okay, all right. I didn't
He's
realize he could do that.
He was so. This is a story that I wanted to bring up to you, Liam, because me and Rob talked about it earlier today, and I want to see your take. You know where I'm going with this. So what happened was Jazz plays third, but before the trade, Jazz is the primary second baseman. So and Jazz is a very good glove at second base. Jazz just naturally wherever he plays is a very good glove. Gleyber Torres leads the league and
Glaber
has
needs to be gone.
a
Why is
Glaber.
Glaber not gone?
Glaber
He should
leads.
not have a job.
Glaber leads his bat. His bat has been clutch recently. Um,
It
he
hasn't been
he
good.
has been good, but it's been clutch. In the postseason, you're gonna want that.
Clutch mid-season is nothing. That means nothing.
I agree, but I can see why they kept him. I can see why I don't like it. I agree with you. My mind agrees with you, but my heart, as a Yankee fan, goes, "Ah, man, he's been with us so long."
He's been terrible.
Yeah, he's been bad. But
You
anyway,
won a championship, you can't get attached to players. But go ahead.
but okay, that's a good point. I agree with you on that. But the thing is so Jazz is a not a Gold Glove, but could win a Gold Glove second baseman. They go to Torres and say, "Hey, can you take reps at third?" Glaber says, "No, I am a second baseman." To which Jazz says, "Sure, I'll play third." Do what? Rob, you had an opinion on it. I'm curious to see what
Glaber
yours is.
should not be a Yankee. You say I'm not playing second base. Boone says good. You won't play for the Yankees. That's the way it should be. It's not
I
his call to make. He's not putting his players in position to make a championship. It's not Jazz being like, "Oh, I'm the new guy. I'll play third." It's not their call. They're players. They get paid to sit there and be quiet. Why is Glaber even in a position to make that call?
Rob.
Glaber's in a position to make that call because on the Yankees, he is a vet, right? He's been in the clubhouse for years now. He's not, some rookie kid anymore on the Yankees. I think of active roster, he's the third or fourth longest tenured player on the Yankees. And every single year, except his rookie year, he has been their starting second baseman. And the now the thing I'm going to say about him saying I'm a second baseman, yes, he started off as a shortstop, wasn't cut out to be a shortstop. You get moved to second base. If you start off as a shortstop and you get moved to second base, that means you're lackluster defensively. And if you're lackluster defensively at second base, you shouldn't be put at third at all, ever. Now, Jazz, he played second base, but the Marlins moved him to center field. And you got to be an athlete. You have to be good at defense to play center field. And he did good. And that's why I have no problem with his transition to second. Now, to Liam's point of Gleyber Torres shouldn't be a Yankee, we have a guy on the Yankees who was a Gold Glove second baseman who won 2 batting titles playing second base, and ever since then hasn't seen a single rep at second base. DJ LeMahieu. Now, DJ LeMahieu has also just been not good, but I think if you're gonna bench Gleyber, you put DJ at second. Let the man get back to his fundamentals, which is a big part of baseball, playing the position you're used to, the repetition of it all. Now, Gleyber Torres has been clutch since the All-Star break. It's been a week and a half, 2 weeks. But the thing with Gleyber versus DJ or Cabrera, whoever's going to fill that second base hole, is that they have to be consistent, and none of them are. And that is the Yankees' issue that they didn't address.
I just want to say this, right? The Yankees, they're a very historic franchise, maybe the most historic franchise in all the franchises. They do things, the traditional way. So when they have a vet like that, like Gleyber Torres in the clubhouse, maybe they listen to him. But to me, not a Yankees fan, don't even like the Yankees. Don't you think after so many years of not sniffing a championship that maybe you would switch up the way you're doing things? I mean, sure, Gleyber Torres is a vet. How many championships has he been to? How many times has he led the Yankees past the DS? I mean, has he been in the World Series? Has he seen great playoff success? This is the guy where you're like, okay, he gets to walk around the clubhouse. That's big man right there. I mean, there's not a single guy in there that should be doing that.
So, well, there are 2 guys that could be doing that, and that's Soto and Judge.
What have they done?
Stan, I would give the green light to.
Soto's won a World Series.
Soto carried a team to the World.
Vet. You say Yankee vet.
Soto carried that team.
Here's the thing with the Yankee vet thing, especially when it comes to Gleyber Torres. This year is Gleyber's worst year by far as a Yankee, as a player ever. In every past season, where the Yankees have fallen apart, where the Yankees were doing great and then were doing poorly, the issue was never second base or Gleyber Torres. He was never the problem until this year, which I think is a big part of why they didn't want to get rid of him and why he wasn't traded or even benched more often than just once so far this year. It's because, hey, up until this year, this guy wasn't a problem. This guy was our second baseman. He was good, he was consistent, and he was a good defender, a decent defender. He was never really a great defender.
Bad shortstop, good second.
Yeah, he was terrible at short. Once they moved him to second, he really cleaned up his act. So that's part of it that is easy to overlook, is that yes, they haven't had a lot of playoff success, but the things that have been good versus bad up until this year, Gleyber Torres was not on that list.
I actually, to defend Gleyber Torres in that regard, there was 3 players that from 2021 through 2018 through 2023 who were the 3 players that never were in trouble as a Yankee were Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge, and Gleyber Torres.
But again,
there was times where Stanton,
I agree with you. I'm not arguing that point. Sure, he could have been number 1. But my point is that really a time to be celebrated in Yankees history?
No.
No. So why does he have any pull in the clubhouse? First of all, any team, I don't know why he would have a pull in the clubhouse. Like any player that does that and says, no, I am not going to play that position, good, then find a new team. That's not how team sports work in any sport.
As a Yankee fan, I hate to say it, But morally wise, I do agree with you on this one, Liam. That
I mean,
would,
that's just
as
think
Brian
think about
Cashman
playing
hearing.
athletics when you were a kid. You know, maybe you went to you. I went to football practice, and you know, I was an O lineman. Every position on that O line, I learned. I learned the plays for every single position. This way, if I didn't get my job there, and they said, "Yo, you need to bump out. You need to go play guard, or you need to go play tackle," I was a center. I could, and I wouldn't complain. I would just do it because one of the best qualities to have is being adjustable,
Versatility.
fitting a role. He's being a utility guy, helping a team win. I mean, that's a championship player, somebody that can just fit into a role. You see it in every sport, and the fact that he doesn't want to do that is infuriating.
And I say this is my thing. I agree with Rob on the fact that moving Jazz to third and keeping Torres a second as Aaron Boone is the right thing to do. You do that. You keep everyone in their positions and you move Jazz to the position of need. I agree. Jazz is good enough. He'll be fine at third. The As Brian Cashman, I am selling him immediately to another team. You are going here. I'm getting myself a new second baseman. I'm going to let DJ try and figure it out now. Or I'm going to get somebody as a backup to DJ as a contingency plan just in case. Like, I'm going to throw, like, get me Tommy Edman or something. That'll make you so happy, Rob. I'm going to get me. See
People that
that?
don't
Now
know,
Rob's
I
starting to
love
side
Tommy
with
Edman.
us. Rob would like GM Ben.
Forget Glaber now. If we get Tommy Edman,
Yeah, he would buy that jersey so fast. He'd go to the next game as a Yankee fan and buy the jersey.
I have a Tommy Edman Cardinals jersey waiting in the mail that I haven't gotten yet. And now
I don't
he's a
think you're getting it,
Dodger.
dude. Dude, I'm sorry. I don't think you're getting it. I think I gotta reorder it. I genuinely do. It was
Well,
supposed to
don't
be with
now.
Liam's jerseys. It was supposed to be with Liam's jerseys. I think I'm just out. I'm out the money. But but what do you call it? The what do you? But I agree. GM Ben would never tolerate that. I'd be like, all right, I agree. If you're not gonna play where I tell you, then go play somewhere else and see if you could get that to work
yeah.
with them.
Let's see how well you play second base on the White Sox.
We love Luis Robert. one more White Sox dig before we go to break. It's always the White Sox, man. Breaking news. Breaking news. The White Sox, no way. You got it? Yeah. The White Sox suck. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I just got the news. All right, we're going to transition to the Olympics. And Liam has requested we discuss something that involves the USA basketball team. But before we go into that, we have breaking news again. Breaking news. You with us, Rob? Breaking news.
Yeah, I'm here.
Simone Biles won again. Oh!
The sky is
thought?
blue.
Yeah.
She took one L, and it was to her mental health.
Yeah, she battled. What was it? She had to leave in Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, all right, I'm back.
Every other time, she's just gold.
She doesn't lose. Do you imagine being the other team and just like, oh, she smiled, she looks good, she's ready to go, we're screwed.
Well, that actually happened during the women's team gymnastics match. Britain thought they'd won it until they realized they hadn't counted Simone Biles' score yet.
The trumpets started going off.
Like they started celebrating.
Yeah, Britain thought they won it until Saratoga, so they seem to be thinking victories are happening earlier than they do. But
deep cut history reference there.
Yeah,
on a sports podcast.
That was crazy.
We are 1-0-1 against Britain. What is a kilometer?
Who are you mad at?
I don't know. No one. Just go USA. Wait. Speaking of which, hold on. I gotta get a US. Liam, you gotta get your USA stuff. Oh wait, you're away from your stuff. Well, hold on. I gotta go.
I wasn't even wearing this hat because of it. I just wear this hat every single time I play a softball game.
USA, baby. Let's go,
First of all,
United States.
baseball's not in the Olympics. Second of all, that's a Yankees cap.
with the USA flag.
All right.
Yeah,
Baseball
raw.
has been in the Olympics.
Yeah, it has. Aaron Judge says he wants it back.
It was in the last Summer Olympics. Japan won gold and baseball won silver, or US
Oh,
won silver.
Sounds familiar.
the White Sox took bronze.
No, the White Sox didn't qualify. Come on.
They barely qualify for the MLB.
If there was a relegation,
There's one guy that's a White Sox fan right now, just like punching
Just
the air, dude.
yeah, just fists
Swinging and missing.
our one White Sox fan listener.
He's batting 190 trying to punch the wall.
Throwing meatballs when he throws stuff around. His ERA went up when he threw it. Oh, batting 190, swinging it. Oh man, this just in, the White Sox are bad. Oh man, I almost wanted to make a question, but it's so sad. What's worse, the Pistons run or the White Sox run right now? But
Did you just to bring it back to the Olympics? Did you guys see the run back the women's rugby team had against Australia to win bronze?
oh,
Dude, yeah.
unbelievable,
Where
unbelievable.
where the one girl just straight up had no other option. Couldn't toss the ball back, so she just had to run through the defender
Dude.
and did.
It was sick.
She put that shoulder down, and you could see like that was perfect low man wins kind of situation.
That was actually against Great Britain, I think.
That was against Australia.
Was it?
Australia?
Australia,
I
yeah.
think he's
against
right. I think
Australia?
it was Australia.
Maybe we beat Great Britain to get there, though. I think.
Yes, that was the match beforehand.
Yeah.
No, what a crazy! I think that's the highlight play of the entire Olympics in my mind right now.
I mean, it's really tough to watch them all. But
Yeah.
But it's the equivalent of running 99 yards for a touchdown to win the game.
crazy.
But in doing so, you had to flatten a guy.
And you're
Oh, yeah.
also a national hero.
Yep.
The most Derrick Henry-esque run you could see in a rugby game.
Yeah, but also you can't call him a national hero because Texans fans are pretty upset.
No, it's funny. Something I always go to the discovery of at the Olympics is the United States wins all the medals. Like we always win in just straight up medals. But for some reason, like one other country, this one it's China, this Olympics so far,
It's usually China.
it's gold or nothing. Like they
Yeah.
either win it all or they don't get a medal. So they don't have many medals, but they have the most golds, which is crazy to me because
It's because where they specialize versus where we specialize is very different places, right? Like in the United States, we go for the pure athleticism stuff like track and field, basketball, rugby, soccer, more so than other countries like China, who will go for the smaller, more niche sports, like even this year, like shooting or ping pong or table tennis, pickleball, which was I don't know if you guys saw the pickleball.
Was that in the
highlights.
Olympics?
Yeah, and
it's
it was
in the Olympics
insane.
now.
No, they were like
Oh,
a
you know what?
foot.
I did see that.
They were like a foot away from each other, just smack it back
Dude,
and
they're
forth.
crazy.
It's insane.
Like high level pickleball is so fun to watch.
You know what? In
And
my
then you have to
opinion,
wrap your head around it because like my mom's trying to learn it, or like there are people like.
But have you
"Maybe I
ever
should pick
seen
up
them play
pickleball."
pickleball? How slow the game is?
but
Yeah, exactly.
old people are cracked at pickleball. That's why I said it'd be so much more fun if the rule is you have to be over 45 to play for the play the Olympics because it's old people doing it. That'd make me so happy. Like, sure, I can go and watch
Do
ping
you
pong
think
and watch
over
some.
45 is old?
No, they'll still be smacking it, but it'd be way cooler if they had gray hair while they're smacking it at each other. Like, but no, my thing is like when you watch like ping pong, I could see them slapping 100 miles an hour at each other like a million times before someone does a little bit of a mess up and it's over. But when it comes to pickleball, I just want to see old people doing it. Like maybe make the cap 60. Like they have to like
Why stop there? Let's make it 85.
Like they have to be struggling to do that much exercise. Like
Okay.
they got to be
I,
panting at the end.
the true cap, they have to be on hospice playing pickleball. That's the bar. That's how old they have to be.
They have to have some sort of like they have to have some sort of morning pill routine if you want to do
So they could
Well,
just
that
be a
actually,
junkie.
yeah, no, that gets you disqualified from the Olympics. Is having a morning pill routine.
it. Whoa, you turned that completely upside down to what I thought
It's
we were
just some
going.
26-year-old taking Adderall.
PEDs, like, all right, I'll make it.
I'm sorry. What performance enhancing drugs are you taking? Just antidepressants and Adderall. That's it.
You have two types of competitors: young kids taking Adderall and 90-year-old women named Gertrude. Those are the only people that
So could you
qualify to play
imagine
in the Olympics.
Gertrude wins? And the
Well,
guy is like,
Gertrude's been
Be
in the
like
game
the
longer. She's been playing. She's there every day. She doesn't have school. She doesn't have work. She's been retired. All she has is pickleball.
the miracle
She's
on the
on the
court.
grind. Someone has to help her up onto the podium, obviously.
yeah, gets the medal, falls over, just like getting up to the top of the podium.
This has slowly turned from a sports podcast to just making fun of old people.
Nah.
Meanwhile, when people are old at the Olympics, they're 30.
And just for our listeners, Ben thinks old people is 45.
No, no,
That was not convincing.
That was,
no.
yeah, no, that was the opposite of convincing. If
He
anything,
just
I
went,
believe it's 40
no.
now.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Moving on to the basketball in the Olympics. LeBron was the first flag bearer for
Schroeder carried the flag for Germany. You have anything to say about him?
good OKC player. Giannis, Schroeder, and LeBron were all NBA players to be flag bearers. A couple of them made very important strides for their countries. And yeah, what do you think? William, what's up?
We are on the verge of cutting again.
Anyway,
Okay, to get back on actual track here, the
Yeah.
United States won their first game of the primary round against Serbia, 110 to 84. Just to bring in some of the big names that we also talked about, Giannis's Greece fell to Spain, 84 to 77. We had the alien himself out of San Antonio, but playing for France. France won 94 to 90 over Japan.
I think that was in
Barely.
overtime.
It doesn't. It's not telling me
I
if
think
it's
it
overtime
was.
on this final page. But so far. Oh, sorry. Greece played twice. They lost both times. They lost to Canada too.
Canada looks
yeah,
nice.
but Canada is probably, I'd say, the second best team out there.
France.
Maybe.
South Sudan beat Puerto Rico.
But
Puerto Rico does not have a stacked team.
yeah.
I'm just looking at these teams and I'm like, who plays basketball for these people?
Yeah. Jose
Um,
Alvarado is really the only guy of note.
But for the United States, we realized something very interesting. Two players did not play a single. Actually, before we get into the USA, I have to say something I found very interesting. On Serbia's side, which is led by Nikola Jokic, who we all on this podcast agree is the best player in the NBA.
Agreed.
He he played when he was on the court. They were tied. I think it was like 63 to 63 or something like that. Like it was a tie game when Nikola Jokic was on the court. The second he stepped off is the entire point differential of the game. The USA dominated when Nikola Jokic wasn't on the court. Goes to show that Nikola Jokic on a 1v5 with five of the best players on planet Earth.
Well, let's not call it a 1v5. It's not like everybody else is,
Not 1v5,
a
but like,
blind homeless man they picked off the streets of Serbia.
but still, like, Nikola Jokic being the lone star facing off against five superstars
Yeah,
is wildly impressive, and it goes to show
it
he's the
is.
best
It's very
player.
impressive.
And it goes to show
Now let's talk about what's not impressive. Two players got zero action against Serbia. Can you tell me who those players are?
I know one of them was Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other guy was.
Tyrese
He won a
Halliburton.
championship, and it all went downhill from there. The second he used that KG quote from from that point on, it all went downhill from there for JT. The other one was Tyrese Halliburton. I have a little bit more love for Tyrese Halliburton, so I'm gonna pretend he played the game. Let's just talk about Jason Tatum.
I
How
did.
can you? God,
No, I just saw one meme that was great. I wish I could source the guy, but it was, Jason Tatum saying, I finally won my ring. I'll get the respect I deserve. And it's LeBron going to him, get me a water.
for real,
Like,
like he's
that's what it was.
Here's the
it's
thing
just
that also
stacked up against the best players in the world. He doesn't look like one of the best players in the world.
this is also what bothered me. Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP, was clearly the best player on the best team in that entire playoff run. They go, no, we're not going to take you. We're going to take your teammate Jason Tatum, who is
And,
arguably the
and
best player on that
Derek
team.
White.
That I'm not there yet. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. Jason Tatum is arguably the best player on this team, and if it weren't for Jason Tatum, we don't have a championship. Sure, sure, sure. We're also going to take your potential backup if you have a point guard when Drew Holiday's on. Or if Drew Holiday's not on, he's the point guard in a way. But like we're gonna take your flex point guard six
He's the
man
sixth man.
over you. Why?
I don't know.
Made
He must
no
have,
It
he
doesn't
must have
sense.
said
make
no.
any sense to me.
He must have said he didn't want to do it. Like, that's the only thing I can think of.
All right, but I mean, you know how many more American players Jimmy Butler just from the Heat alone.
Bam,
You
Bam.
think Derek White is better than him? Bam's there.
Nope.
Yeah, Bam's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find it wild. But Jason Tatum not playing. The best scenario you could put on this, in my opinion, is you are giving the players that this is their last chance, like LeBron, Steph, KD. You don't know if they're going to be in the league in 4 years, giving them the chance to play. But in that same breath, Anthony Edwards plays a lot of minutes for this team. So as I say that, my point gets completely flipped upside down the second you see Anthony Edwards hit a three. You're like,
Derek White
well,
got in the game.
Derek White got in the game, his teammate, and he played a couple minutes. He played bench minutes, which is for that team impressive to even be on the court. He should be the one that's not playing. And I find it crazy. Tyrese Halliburton makes a little sense. Like you don't really need Tyrese
Yeah.
Halliburton when you have Steph and LeBron who are basically your point guards. You have KD who can ball. You have so many ball handlers. Tyrese Halliburton's kind of just he doesn't fit in with the mesh of this team that well.
I agree.
But Jason Tatum really should be a part of this. And it goes to show that either the worst thing you could see is that during practice they're like, we'd rather Derek White be out there. Which either
Now,
means play or chemistry, which are both bad.
now to have a 0 plus minus and 0 minutes, not great. To have a negative plus minus, arguably worse. Another up of the Miami Heat. Very happy about this narrative as well. Joel Embiid's the only player with a negative plus minus. He has not been special during this playoff run. I'm sorry, not the playoff run, the Olympic run.
We're used to saying that.
Huh?
We're used
Yeah, I
to
know.
saying it.
You're right. Yeah, he's not good in big moments.
Well, the next time the U.S. plays is tomorrow at 3 o'clock French time, which is like
Why'd you
gonna be
say
like
French
10,
time?
because that's when it is. It's in France. It's their time. It's French time.
It's
gonna
not
be 3 in
solely
the afternoon.
possessed by the French.
Well, right now it is. They have the Olympics. The world
All
is
right.
watching. It is on their time. But their next game is against South Sudan, and then after that they have Saturday against Puerto Rico, and then those are their last two games for the primary round before the quarterfinals and semifinals start
I
off.
think we should be Puerto Rico. South Sudan's going to be a challenge, though.
Who's on South Sudan?
Really,
Really?
not many people, but we played them in the exhibition match,
Yes.
and they gave us a real run for our money. We had to
Let
beat
me
them
just
on a LeBron too, right at the buzzer.
let me read you some names from this South
Good
Sudan
luck.
team. We have Peter Jock, Kaman Malahi, Karlik Jones, Marl Shahouk, and the list goes on.
Good call, cutting it there.
Yep.
And the list goes on is the funniest way to end that. Um, the
You know,
uh, the
no NBA players.
yeah, which could you imagine being kind of similar to the guy that pitched to Shohei in the WBC? Can you imagine being that guy that you were just one day doing your own thing, you're just living your life, you know, you're good at basketball in your local town, you somehow find a way to make the national team. Now go guard LeBron James.
Well,
Like,
I'm sure they play in a professional league somewhere.
no, but still doesn't matter. Could you imagine going from that to now guard LeBron and Steph
Yeah,
Curry
it's
or
tough.
KD? It's got to be the worst. All right, guard the one of the 1A or 1B of the greatest point guard of all time. Guard 1A or 1B of the greatest player of all time, or 1A or 1B the greatest shooter of all time in the mid range. It's just the worst.
Who are you calling 1A and 1B of the greatest point guard of all time?
Steph Curry,
And who's 1B?
Magic Johnson.
Okay, yeah, I guess, but he's not guarding Magic Johnson.
No, I'm saying like they.
Magic Johnson, he didn't qualify for the Olympics this year.
No,
He hasn't played in like a couple of years.
you
So
get
I'm
my
saying.
point.
He,
I'm saying you're
he could
facing
still make
either
the White Sox, but he could not play on the Olympic team.
You just built that up just to say. You knew exactly where you were going with that. One more White Sox joke.
Famous White Sox player, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably would carry that team right now.
As is current day Michael Jordan.
All right. But let's go USA. Let's hope the Olympics go well. And boy, oh boy, did I just come up with a funny game time that I really want to try now that I think of it. And I want to make it called Over Under. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
This is how we're going to do this. I am going to be looking at Chicago White Sox statistics.
I knew you were going to do this.
And I'm going to ask you, is
You're going
this
to run it into
stat
the ground.
over or under? Are we ready?
Do it.
I said, are we ready?
I'm going to give you this with the same enthusiasm as a White Sox fan. Sure.
No.
All right. Liam's video game first baseman and the first baseman of the Chicago White Sox, Andrew Vaughn. He boasts a 234 average with a .289 on base percentage and a .383 slugging. Does he have over or under 13 home runs?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a 50-50 shot. And since I can't stand him because he bats right behind me, he's our cleanup guy in my MLB The Show career. And he never drives me in. And I hate him. I'm going to say under.
Rob?
Over.
And Liam strikes the first point of the game. Andrew Vaughn has 12 home runs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to just do the Chicago White Sox. That'd be really annoying.
Thank God.
All right, so why? You don't want to just do the Chicago White Sox?
No, I just put 1 point on the board, and that's more than the whole team has done in the last 2 weeks.
All righty. So, on the New York Yankees, Austin Wells boats a 241 average, a 342 OBP, with 8 home runs, 27 ribbies, and 30 runs scored. Does he have over or under 750 OPS?
Oh, is this me?
Hey, just go whenever you want. You both can just go
Under.
whenever. Under? Liam.
Do I have to take the opposite? Because I also thought under.
You thought under?
Yeah.
There will be no points scored. He has a 7.64 OPS. He's batting over in that regard. The next player we will be talking about is going to be one of the greatest first basemen in the 2010s, Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt boasts a career low 232 average, a 290 OBP, and a 389 slug to go along with his 16 home runs. Does he have over or under 15 doubles?
Under.
Over.
Rob with a point. He has 16 doubles. Good season on the doubles accord. Let's go to the New York Mets. Francisco Lindor, the hero of the New York Mets, boasts a 256 average, 22 home runs, 63 RBIs, and 71 runs scored. With Gold Glove defense to go with it. Does he have over or under 20 steals?
Under.
I'm also gonna say under.
You both do not get a point. Francisco Lindor has 22 steals,
Golden Door.
leading the team. Alrighty. Up next, we have to go with who I personally think is the most underrated player in baseball. He's my favorite third baseman, Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez boasts a 276 average, 85 RBIs, 76 runs scored with a 330 OBP and a 527 slug. Is his average over or under 280?
Under.
Over.
Liam gets the point. He bats 276. Alrighty. I think he's the most underrated third baseman. What's
That's discussion is not a part of game time. You
no,
just
man?
ask questions.
Yes, it is.
He's just like I don't want to be a part of it.
Our whole game time so far has just been saying under and over. Let's get some discussion. Jose Ramirez sucks.
Hey,
He knocked one guy out and everybody loves him.
he's been an MVP candidate. Whatever. No, I know.
He must have won MVP then.
I don't like you.
I guess not. I'm sorry. I struck a chord there.
I'm gonna say that the multi-time All-Star is not underrated.
I think he's a fraud.
Jeez.
Bad guy overall.
All right. We're going to go to one of Rob's favorite players in the MLB, Bo Bichette. He boasts a 223 average with 4 home runs, 30 ribbies, 29 runs scored. He has a 276 on base percentage, a 321 slug. Does he have over or under 70 hits?
Under.
Under.
Both of you get a point. He has under 70 hits. He boasts 68 hits, which, fun fact, is third on the Blue Jays.
That's horrendous.
That's
there's a
how
reason they
bad the
sold.
Blue.
I actually meant to say that before when we were talking losers of the trade deadline. Blue Jays didn't sell a single piece. I did not like that.
They sold IKF.
Kiermaier, Kikuchi.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
They didn't sell their big names.
They didn't sell their big names.
I think they still want to build around Bichette and Guerrero. And if you're gonna build around two guys that you have already, those are your two dudes.
I don't know. I think you have to get rid of Bo Bichette. There's still a little bit of trade bait there, and he's not living up to what he could have been.
I think they have enough time under control still to maybe try it on an up year because this, like, you can't really sell him high this year if he's playing the worst he ever has.
True.
Alrighty. Next one. We have. Where is he? Where'd he go? There he is. So, one of the greatest hitters in our lifetimes, Mike Trout. He before he got hurt, had a 220 average, 325 OBP, and a 541 slug. He's sixth on his team still after only playing like a month and a half. He's still sixth on his team in homers. Does he have over or under 12?
Under.
Over.
Mike Trout has 10 home runs.
You know, it's
10
funny. The only reason I picked over is because I remember he was the first guy to 10 home runs in the league, and I was like, maybe he hit two more before he got hurt.
All right, Liam, if you get one more right, you win. Rob, you need to go on a 3-0 win streak to take it. The next player we're going to go with is on the... I have the right one. There we go. Paul Skeens. One of the most touted rookies in the MLB. Boasts a 1.9 ERA, which is insane, by the way. He has only walked 16 batters, and he has only lost once. Does he have over or under 5 wins?
Under.
Over.
Rob is back in the mix. He has 6 wins. Unbelievable. Paul Skeens is a madman.
One of the fastest pitchers ever to 100 strikeouts, too.
Crazy.
Yeah. Up next, we have Gunnar Henderson, a potential MVP candidate. Boasts a 283 average, 28 home runs, 64 RBIs. Leads his team in runs. Does he have over or under 85?
Under.
Over.
And the game ends at 84 runs scored for Gunnar Henderson. Liam takes the victory, and that is over under.
I picked under every time.
I know.
So why would you even, if you knew, why would you give me an under?
I wanted to see if you'd eventually switch up, but you never did.
No.
I was given hope that you'd switch up, and I was just like, oh, he's not switching up. Oh, he's not switching up. Oh, but that's how it ends. Alrighty, so that'll lead us straight into locks and upsets. Do we got our locks and upsets?
Of course.
No, this week I did not have them.
This week you did not have them, Liam.
No.
Work fast, all talk slow.
You're good at that.
Thank you.
Well, I have Saturday, August 3rd. I have the Yankees defeating the Blue Jays as my lock. I wanted to be a homer because I'm wearing the Yankee hat. I actually switched my lock on that day. I had a different game, but I was like, you know what? And
My lock of the week is that on this Friday, August 2nd, the day after the 1st, at a 9:40 start in Seattle, the Philadelphia Phillies will beat the Seattle Mariners.
Oh, that's your lock?
Yes.
Okay.
Liam, I hope that was enough time.
That was enough time. That was plenty of time. I've had my lock this entire time. My lock, my lock is gonna be Olympic beach volleyball in the men's division, and it's gonna be Perusic and Schweiner. I'm taking the money line over Horrell and Horst.
In my upset of the week, repping USA, baby. I got USA on August 2nd defeating Morocco in the quarterfinals of soccer. Am I confident in this upset? No. But what is a kilometer? Let's go. We're like, what, 9-2 in wars? USA #1. Let's go.
It's pronounced
Hurrah.
kilometer.
I'm pretty sure
Whatever.
none of that was right. It's a kilometer, not a kilometer.
It's just wrong.
I don't think we're 9-2 in wars.
Yeah, that's also just wrong. There are many that we just ended and we're like, we're not counting that.
And as a true-blooded American, I will say, I don't care. I'm right. You're wrong. Get out. And what's your upsets?
My upset is that this Saturday, the 3rd, the Orioles will beat the Guardians. The Guardians are the betting favorite.
Yeah, I went in a similar direction. Wednesday at 6:35. I'm taking the over on 7 runs in the Taiwanese Baseball League. It's the Rakuten Monkeys versus the Fubon Guardians.
Oh my god. Similar route ended with just the word guardian.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's baseball.
We can do upsets off of just that. Like we can do that. Is that cool?
Is it a
I mean,
statistical upset?
Yeah,
it's
true.
not favored.
Okay, yeah, that'd be an upset.
Good
Yeah.
by me. I would like to thank you all for listening. You can follow us on our socials at Dear Hollow Heroes, or you can also message us through dearhollowheroes@gmail.com. Message us and let us know your comments, questions, concerns, angry, happy. Talk
White
to us.
Sox hate mail.
White, no, our White Sox hate mail. We'd greatly appreciate it for the laughs. Go to Bonfire and get some merch. There's gonna probably be updated very shortly. There's gonna be some new merch out very quickly to end the summer. There'll be a new fall list for you guys all to buy. Yay! You guys can go to a pumpkin patch wearing our faces on yourselves.
We should do that.
What?
Why did you make it sound so weird? You can go to a pumpkin patch wearing our faces on yourself.
Wouldn't you not want to wear this to a pumpkin patch?
Put our faces on your kids. Go out in public. What are you talking about? How about just wear our merch? Do whatever you want with the merch.
You know what? You don't have to wear it. Just buy it. That's it.
Buy it. That's good enough for me. Or just consider it.
Go to the website, browse around. I'm okay with that.
Wear our faces on your children in public.
It's not a selling
children.
We're asking a lot of people, don't you think?
There has to be a pumpkin patch. I swear if you go apple picking.
If I see one person with a squash in their hand and my face on their shirt, I'm coming after you.
No gourds.
Yeah.
No gourds. No sunflowers in the vicinity. All right, so thank you all for listening. Yeah, thank you, Liam and Rob, for being a part of it, and yeah, bye.
All right.
USA.
USA,
USA.
USA,
USA.
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 I'd hate to listen to that.